Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction created for entertainment purpose only, not affiliated with BTS or Big Hit Entertainment. Characters and storylines are fictional and for entertainment purpose only. If you are homophobic, then please just leave. Tiger's Bunny promote respect and kindness. Characters introduction: Kim Taehyung, 27 years old, a poor but hardworking man, runs a small flower shop, calm, kind, always patient, loves deeply and never gives on the people he cares about. He doesn't have much money but has a big heart. Jeon Jungkook, 24 years old, son of a wealthy business family, handsome, sporty, and used to getting everything he wants. Never respects people below his status, but deep down he is lonely. Mr. and Mrs. Jeon Jungkook's strict parents who believes in family reputation more than their son's wishes. Min Yoongi, Theung's best friend, works as a mechanic, always gives Theung advice. Jeon Mansion. The Jeon Mansion's living room looked like it belonged in a magazine. Crystal chandeliers, marble floor, gold framed paintings, but in the middle of all the luxury set, Jungkook slouched on the expensive leather couch, trailing his phone in his hand, looking completely uninterested across from him. Mr. and Mrs. Jeon were sitting upstairs, their expression serious. Mrs. Jeon folded arms. Jungkook, we have discussed this enough times. You are getting married. Jungkook looks up, slowly frowning. Married to who? Another rich family's daughter or one of those stuck up hires you always like? Mr. Jeon coldly to Kim Taehyung. Jungkook pauses, confused. Who? Mrs. Jeon. He owns a small flower shop. Jungkook laughs bitterly. Wait, a florist? Are you really serious? You want me, Jeon Jungkook, to marry some poor guy who sells flowers? Mr. Jeon firm. Yes, he is decent man, responsible, exactly what you need to straighten your life. Jungkook angrily throws his phone on the couch. So this is about control again. You can't handle me going out, having fun, living my life, so you want to chain me to some nobody. The media already paints you as a spoiled brat who spends money restlessly and changes partners every week. Jungkook sarcastic. Oh, so marrying a poor man will fix my reputation. Wow, brilliant. Mr. Jeon cold gaze. Wedding is in 3 weeks. Jungkook stands up abruptly, glaring. You can force me into this, but you can't make me love him. Without another word, Jungkook storms out of the living room, his footsteps echoing through the huge empty mansion. Time skip to the small flower shop. The scent of the fresh roses filled the air as Theong stood behind the counters, carefully arranging a bucket. His shop was small, with wooden shelves and spotted plants by the window, sunlight spilling it. Despite the humble surroundings, the place felt warm, like it carried his gentle personality. The door chimed as Jongi, his best friend, walked in with a sly smile. Yongi, leaning on the counter. Guess what, Tai? You are about to be a married man. Theong laughed softly. I'm not even dating anyone. What are you talking about, Yoongi? Some rich family came to see your uncle yesterday. They want you to marry their son. Theong blinks. Marry their son, Yoongi, yeah. Jeon Jungkook, big family, owns hotels and businesses, and rumor says he is the biggest parrot in the city. Theong quit smile. A parrot? Then why would they want me? Yoongi, because you are the opposite of him, responsible, calm, patient. They probably think you can handle him. Theon picks up a rose, gently removes the thorn. Rich or poor doesn't matter to me, but if he hates me, this marriage won't be easy. Yoongi half smirky. You, give up, please. If anyone can make a spoiled rich kid behave, it's you. Theon chuckles softly, but a flicker of worry passes through his eyes. Time skip to the hotel lounge. The meeting was set on one of the Jeon's family's luxury hotels. Jungkook arrived first, sitting at the private corner table, his arms crossed, an annoyed expression already on his face. He was dressed in black designer suit, expensive watch glistening on his wrist. Jungkook thought, "Let's get this over with." And that's all will be. The glass door opened and Taeyong walked in. His clothes were simple, a white shirt, black slacks, clean but not expensive. He looked around until his eyes met Jungkook's and he walked over with a polite smile. Taeyong bowed slightly. Hello, you must be Jungkook. Jungkook glanced up, no smile. Yeah, said Taeyong, sit calmly. Your parents told me about the marriage arrangement. Jungkook leans back, smirks. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Look, let's make this easy. I'm not marrying you. Taeyong softly. I see. May I ask you why? Jungkook shrugs. Because I don't want to. You are not my type. And honestly, I don't marry people I barely know. Especially some poor florist probably marrying for money. Taeyong smiles faintly. I'm not marrying for money, Jungkook. I can earn my own living. Jungkook mock laugh. Right, selling flowers can't even buy you this cup of coffee. Taeyong calm. True, but selling flowers let me sleep peacefully at night. I don't need to hurt others to live. Jungkook frowns, feeling strangely irritated by Taeyong's steady, unbothered tone. Jungkook coldly, you really think you can fix me like my parents want? Taeyong shakes head. No, I don't plan to fix you, but if we do marry, I will treat you well. Whether you accept that or not is your choice. Jungkook stares at him, confused by the lack of desperation or begging in Taeyong's voice. Most people he met either kissed up to him or argued back, but Theung just sat there calm as the ocean. Jungkook stands up. This is time. Enjoy your flowers, Mr. Kim. Without waiting for a reply, Jungkook leaves. Theung watches him go, a small sign escaping his lips. Their first meeting ended like cold rain on a summer day, unexpected, unwelcomed, and leaving the air heavy, but fate wasn't done with them yet. The ceremony hall. The wedding was small, nothing like the glamorous events Jungkook was used to. The hall was decorated with fresh flowers, most of which Theung had arranged himself. It was simple but warm. Most Though Jungkook didn't seem to notice, he stood stiffly in his suit, eyes fixed straight ahead when Taeyong walked in, wearing a cream suit that wasn't designer but suited him perfectly. Jungkook didn't smile Taeyong softly when he reached him. Hello, Jungkook, quit call. Let's just finish this. They exchanged vows. Jungkook's voice was flat while Taeyong's was calm and sincere. When it came time to exchange rings, Jungkook slid his into Taeyong's finger quickly without looking. Taeyong, however, placed Jungkook's ring with care, meeting his eyes for a brief moment. Officiant, you may now. Jungkook cuts in. We will skip the case. Whispers moved through the small crowd, but Theung only gave a faint smile, not showing any offense. Time skipped to Theung's house. The driver was silent. Jungkook kept window, frowning more with every turn down the narrow streets when Theung finally parked in front of a small old house with chipped paint and a tiny garden. Jungkook blinked. Jungkook quickly. This is it, Theung nodded. It's not much, but it's mine. Inside the place was neat but small, creaky wooden floors and floors, a few old shelves, and the faint smell of flowers in the air. Jungkook eyeing the place. Where's my room? Theung hesitates. About that, there is only one bedroom. Jungkook glares. You have got to be kidding me. Theon, calm. I can sleep on the floor if you are uncomfortable. Jungkook cross arm. I'm not that cruel. I will take the floor. Theon smiled softly. No, you will take the bed. I will make space for both of us in the bedroom. The room was silent, just big enough for a double bed, an old wooden wardrobe, and a little desk by the window. Theon had changed the sheets earlier, crisp and smelling faintly of lavender. Theon placing extra pillows. You can take the left side. I will stay on the right. Jungkook shrugs. Whatever. Theon noticed Jungkook standing stiffly near the door, not putting his bag down. Theon gently. You can unpack if you want. Closest is small, but we can share. Jungkook murmurs. I will keep my stuff in the bag. Theon didn't push. Instead, he opened the window a little to let in fresh air. Theon smiling. It gets warm here in the evening, so I keep the window open for a while. I also got an extra blanket in case you get cold at night. Jungkook avoiding eye contact. You don't have to act nice, Theon softly. I'm not acting. Jungkook didn't answer, but when Theon handed him a clean towel and pointed toward the bathroom, he took it without a word. Later that night, they both lay in bed, backs turning to each other. The silence was awkward at first, but Theon broke it. Theon quickly. The pillow okay? Jungkook grumbles. Yeah, it's fine. A few minutes passed before Theon spoke again. Theon, if you ever feel uncomfortable here, you can tell me. I will try to make it better. Jungkook after a pause. Why do you care? Theon smiles in the dark. Because you are my husband now. Jungkook's chest tightened for a reason he didn't understand. He stayed silent, pretending to be asleep, but Theon's words lingered in his mind as the night went on. The bed was small, the house was old, and the air between them was heavy, but that night, under one blanket, something unspoken began to shift slowly, quickly. Morning in a small house. Morning sunlight slipped through the thin curtains, landing softly on Jungkook's face. He frowned in his sleep, trying to turn away from the light, and froze. Something warm was wrapped around his waist. Jungkook's eyes snapped open. Taehyung was right beside him, sleeping peacefully, his arm resting snugly across Jungkook's stomach. His soft rose hair was messy, his breath slow and steady. Jungkook whispering to himself, "What the hell?" Jungkook tried to move, but Taehyung's arm tightened unconsciously, pulling him just a closer. Jungkook's heart skipped a beat. Then he quickly reminded himself to be annoyed, not whatever else this was. Jungkook quit trying to push him away. Yeah, Kim Taehyung. Taehyung stayed blinking sleepily. Taehyung. Soft smile. Morning, Jungkook. Did you sleep well? Jungkook muttering. Not really. You mean cola. Taehyung chuckles. Sorry, I moved around a lot in my sleep. He sat up, stretching before ruffling his messy hair. A few minutes later, Jungkook walked into the tiny kitchen, rubbing his eyes. He stopped when he saw Taehyung trying to flip pancakes in a pan that was clearly too old. Jungkook frowning. What is that supposed to be? Taehyung grinning proudly. Breakfast pancakes. Jungkook eyeing the pan. Looks more like bread that lost a fight. Theung set a plate down in front of him, even adding a few strawberries on the side. Jungkook, I don't usually eat breakfast. Theung, you should. It's not good to start your day on an empty stomach. Jungkook stared at the plate. Against his will, his lips twitched. The pancakes looked terrible, but the strawberries were cut into little heart shapes. Jungkook murmuring, "Did you cut these into hearts?" Theung, pretending innocence. Oh, I guess my knife just slipped that way. After breakfast, Theung followed Jungkook around the small house, checking on him. Theung hands him a cardigan. It's chilly today. Where's this? Jungkook, rolling eyes. I'm fine. Theung puts it over his shoulder anyway, just in case. Later, Jungkook was sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone, when Theung appeared with a mug. Jungkook, what now, Theung? Hot coke. Thought you might like it, Jungkook. I'm not kid, Theong smiling. I know, but you still deserve something sweet. Jungkook took the mug without saying thank you, but the warmth in his chest wasn't from the drink. Theong didn't try to impress Jungkook with money or grand gestures. He simply cared in small, almost silly ways, and though Jungkook kept pretending he didn't notice, every act left a quick mark. Morning routine. It had been almost 3 weeks since the wedding. The mornings had a rhythm now. Theon would wake up early, cook breakfast, sometimes edible, sometimes questionable, and head to his flower shop, leaving Jungkook at home. Theon putting on his jacket. I will be back by 7. There's leftover soup in the fridge if you get hungry. Jungkook half asleep. Yeah, whatever. At first, the silence in the house after Seong left felt annoying. Jungkook wasn't used to such a quiet life. No servant, no big TV, no parties. Just the sound of the clock ticking. He would spend the day scrolling on his phone, pacing or complaining in his head about how boring it was. Time skip. One raining afternoon, Jungkook sat by the window watching people walk by with umbrellas. He saw Taeyang in his mind, probably still working at the shop, hands wet from arranging flowers. For some reason, that thought made him frown. When Taeyong came home that evening, his sleeves were damp, hair slightly messy. Jungkook frowning. You are wet. Don't you have an umbrella? Theong laughs. I forgot it today. It's fine. Jungkook didn't reply, but the next day, Theong found an umbrella neatly leaning by the drawer with a little note. Don't forget. It became a habit. If Theong came home late, Jungkook would pretend he just happened to be in kitchen and would reheat food for him. If Theong looked tired, Jungkook would grumble but shove a cushion behind his back. When they sat on the couch one night, Theong noticed the bed felt warmer than usual. Theong curious, did you turn on the heater early? Jungkook muttering, yeah, so you don't freeze your toes off. Theong smiled softly in the dark, not saying anything, just his heart felt lighter. One evening, Theong came home to find the table already set simple fried rice, two plates, and even the cheap candles He kept for emergencies. Theong surprised. Did you cook? Jungkook looking away. Don't make a big deal out of it. I was bored. But Theong's eyes kept drifting to Jungkook, to the way he would made sure Theong's portion had more vegetables, to the way he didn't complain when Theong smiled too much. Jungkook still pretending he didn't care, but the truth was the small old house was no longer just Theong's. It was slowly becoming theirs, and Jungkook's restless heart was finally learning to stay still. It was late afternoon when on the couch, half watching a drama, when he answered a voice on the line. Is this Jungkook? I'm from the flower shop next to Theong's. He had a little accident. Jungkook's heart dropped instantly. Jungkook panicking. Accident? What happened? Is he okay? Voice. He's fine. Just cut his hand badly while trimming some stems. We told him to rest, but Jungkook didn't even hear the rest. He grabbed his jacket and ran out the door. To be continued.